Hey guys, William Murfitt here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new build series. So this is episode 1 and let's get stuck in. This build series is proudly sponsored by Luntstone. Luntstone is a UK independent electrical engineering contractor delivering design, manufacturing, installation, commissioning and maintenance service expertise to a broad range of customers across the industrial, retail, educational and commercial sector. So if you want to find out more about Luntstone, please check out the website link in the description down below. Without further ado, let's get on to today's video. Let's get this engine stripped down. So the plan today is going to be cylinder head off, water pump off, and just place it all out. I've got a board at the back labelled 8 to 1, and then I'll take things off. I'm going to put them into the right place so that I can be put them back. I'm not going to be replacing head bolts unless anything obviously snaps. Fingers crossed it doesn't. New spark plugs, etc. New oil filter. All the stuff's been ordered from Mini Spares. So apart from the head gasket, which has come from MED, I've gone for a BK 450. Now I know that they seem to be increasingly getting rarer and rarer because no one seems to stock them. And if they do, they're fetching good money. So let's get going. And there we have it. So the cylinder head is off, and the block is pretty much prepped. I've cleaned the pistons. You can see. I'll insert a picture so you can see what they're like before, but they are absolutely lovely now. So I'm going to get a old pillowcase, and I'm going to put the pillowcase over the top of this block to stop it going out, getting anything in there really. Water pump is off as well. And I could do with just getting rid of some of the corrosion and stuff inside here, because that ain't nice at all. I could maybe use something like this. So now I've used a lot of this my DeWalt drill, and I've got some like a drill bit to go into a socket. I made sure I cracked everything off before I've used that. There's not a lot of power in it, but it's more to speed things up, to unwind them. I had a bit of a wobbly moment with one of the bolts on the thermostat into the cylinder head, which I thought was about to snap. So I did it back up, loosened it back off, and sort of worked it back and forth, and it came undone. So I think when I come to put it back together, I think I'll get some new bolts for the thermostat, just to be on the safe side. So yeah, that's that. I need to just quickly do something with the head. Probably put it in the middle of a bench, not in between a gap. And I can come and strip that down next time. And yeah, once the head's stripped down, it can be cleaned up, decoat like this block has been, and then valves can be relapped. And then when the parts arrive, I'm going to put new valves, some oil seals in all 8 of the valves, refit the springs, refit the head to the block using that BK 450 gasket, or gasket if you're a bit posh, and then new water pump, and then that's part of the job is complete. I can then rotate the engine round, do the magic on the clutch. It's much easier out of the car than it is in because you've got access to all the bolts and everything. The only thing I might struggle with is trying to get that flywheel nut off, because I put a lot of strength into that once I was doing the thing in the car. So I might need someone to help me hold that in place. And then around the back, I've got that gear selector oil seal right on the bottom, which needs to be replaced as well. So once I've done there, I can rotate it once again, spin it round so I'm at the back, pull the old bush out, push the new one in, and away we go. So yeah, super happy with how it's turning out, and I guess we will be back tomorrow to do the head. So back in a bit. So here we have the cylinder head, and the cylinder head itself looks okay. You know, I don't know how many miles the car's done, but there's a few things that I've maybe seen that possibly would need addressing. So on the head gasket, between 2 and 3, there was a real thin gap, as if the gasket was sort of like chewing its way through. So potentially the head gasket could have gone at some point. I'll try a little screwdriver. What to do? And also, while we're here, so you've got these plugs, just solid, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and clean up, because these ones here, these 3, they are the waterways, so the water goes between the cylinder head and the block. Now they're a little bit corroded up. I want to get the valves out, I want to clean everything up and make sure it's all nice, fine and dandy. Get the old gasket off using my scraper. So it's just going to be a case of just working it back and forth until it's a nice flat surface, and then I can get a sanding block and just a light flatten off with the sandpaper, like very fine. And I'm talking like, you know, 2000 grit, just literally to take off any imperfections on there. Check that the head is straight across the top, across the back, across the front to back, and then diagonal as well. And hopefully we'll have a nice flat head. I can do the same on the block once I've got the 2 done. I'm pretty sure that we're all going to be good. But yeah, it's not a bad looking head, to be honest. Keep going. So I think it's safe to say that the cleanup and the strip down is now complete. So the cylinder head is fully stripped, and I also cleaned inside the chambers, so that's all looking nice. The only thing I've got to do obviously now is just give that a quite light little sanding down, and then relap the valves. Everything over here has been stripped down, and the valves need to be obviously lapped, but they're all pretty clean. They were really, really grubby, and some of the stuff that was on there was really stubborn to get off. The block is, well, the block is the block. The block was all clean the other day, and that's just been covered over to try and stop anything going inside it. And over here is a collection of all the bits and pieces that I've taken off. So thermostat, water pump, pulley, etc. So I'm just now waiting for some parts to arrive from Mini Spares. So the valves are all now lapped in. You can see it's looking pretty good, and the valves are all ready to go. One valve is already fitted with the new MPI style valve stem seals. So I just need to fit the other 7, and away we go. So stick it back on the tripod and get this job done. Right, the studs are back in and the new cylinder head is in. I actually really like this. It's like a it's got like a waxy feel to it, but there's a specific way you have to fit it. Obviously with the rocker ports at the back, and you see over here it says top, so that means it's the top of the engine block. Now, not to be mistaken with top as in top facing down, because that would be down. But yeah, it fits really nicely, and the best thing of these is I believe they've got like a heat cycle you gotta do with them. So I was told that by Turbo Cooper Sport, so Steve at Turbo Cooper Sport, and he fits these BK450s. I think this is a slight variant to the BK450, but it's the same thing. So what you do is you put the cylinder head on, and when it's connected up to the engine, obviously you put oil in it, but you don't put any coolant in. And you start it, run it up to, for 30 seconds or so, and apparently the heat that goes into this sort of creates a bond between the block and the cylinder head. I'm not sure how true that is, but the guy is very, very clever. So I've taken his word for it, and that's the way I've done it ever since. So yeah, the cylinder head's ready to go on. I'm going to just quickly put this water pump on, because I'm going to put the water pump on and the what do you call it? The bypass hose on, so the cylinder head can be lowered on. It's a little bit easier to do it that way than it is trying to manoeuvre it in. I mean, it's neither here nor there, but no. So I'm going to put the cylinder on. So next up, the cylinder head's going to come on. I'm going to put the water pump on afterwards. It's going to be more of a fiddle trying to get the pipe on, but it's neither here nor there. So yeah, I'm really happy. I had to change one stud because it's it got to so far and it got a bit tight. Actually, when you look at the stud itself, it's a bit corroded. So I thought the last thing I want is for that to snap. So I got a new stud fitted, or a new old stud fitted, and it's ready to go. So the cylinder head is under here. Let's whack that on, and when it's in place, I'm just going to clean all this out and give it a flush when it's in situ. Happy days. Happy days. Okay, so the cylinder head's on, it's all torqued down. Now what I've done is, although I changed this bolt previously, I've changed it again for a slightly longer one, as you can see from here. Now the reason for that is that to get the engine out of our house, or out of my garage, and into Gareth's truck, back home into the subframe, etc., back into the car, we're going to be fitting the actual engine lifting mounts. Now I don't want to undo this because it obviously then releasing the slack on this side of the head, so I'll put a longer bolt in, put the brackets on, put the nut down, and that is done. There's no harm in having a longer bolt there. The only issue you're going to have potentially is catching your knuckles a bit more on that because it's higher than the others, but it's perfectly safe, it's tight, etc., it's all down, so I'm really happy with how that's looking. The valves are all lapped in, the cylinder head's all been rebuilt with the new valve stem oil seals, and yeah, I'm really happy with how this is looking. Over to around the side, we've got our new bypass hose, which goes up onto there. The issue is that doesn't come with any clamps or clips. Now I can use the old ones, however, fitting a new part with old clips and old knackered ones as well isn't the best option, or it's not the best idea really, is it? So I'm going to get some clamps for these. The water pump bolts came with 4 bolts, and 2 spring washers. So I need to get some more spring washers. I put some flat washers on there as well to make sure that they are going to be up against there nice and tight, and have a nice sort of flat surface to join to. So yeah, 2 new spring washers I need, and 2 clamps for that. Then the water pump can go on. The thermostat housing I've cleaned up a little bit. It could probably do with a bit more of a scrub, but all in all that's pretty good, and it's much better than it was. Now Steve's also used a method previously. I always thought he was pulling my leg, but apparently not, where using ground up dishwasher tablets into your cooling system, flushing the engine through, and actually it gets a lot of this crud off. So apparently that works really well, so I might give this a try with this engine. I've just wound the spark plugs back in a couple of threads to make sure nothing goes down into the bores, because they're obviously all clean. And then I'm going to put the rocker cover placed over the top. Now before this is all finished and done and dusted, I'm going to adjust up the tappets, because they're feeling pretty tight, if I'm honest. So I need to make sure that they are going to be the correct tolerance. I'm going for 12 thou across the board, really happy with that. And that's going to be the next job I'm going to do on the cylinder head. And obviously then, once the engine's running, the tappets will be done. It's just a case of checking the timing and checking the fueling. But yes, I'm going to leave this video here for now, because I've done quite a lot, as you can see. It looks much better than it did this time yesterday, or at the beginning of the video even. Let's just place that onto there. So yeah, just place that onto there for now, and that looks really, really cool. So this, I believe, was originally blue, and Gareth rubbed it all down and sprayed it like a nice sort of silvery grey colour, and I think it looks really, really good, and it really sets off the rest of the engine. You can get some grey HT leads to go with this. I think that will look absolutely spot on. But yes, I'm going to leave this video here, so hopefully you have enjoyed watching so far. So far we've got the engine stripped down, overhauled at the top end, and heads back on. The next episode we're going to put the water pump on, and then I'm going to turn my attention to the clutch. This is a new style clutch, the Verto clutch, so it's different to what I've done previously, but all in all it's pretty similar. So yes, looking forward to getting stuck into that. But as I say, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the content, please leave a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you haven't done so already and you do fancy it, please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. That's it from me, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.